Hello, Crime Atlas Nation. How's everybody's day going? Comment down below, how's your day going? I want to start off by saying that I think cops should have body cameras, and it's probably for a reason you didn't think of. It would protect the police officers from the public, because it will help prevent officers getting fired just because someone didn't like cops and they filed enough complaints at the police department. But it also can help make sure that only good cops stay cops, and it gets rid of the bad cops. Let's look at the pros of police having body cameras. A clear picture of what happened, which prevents what he say, she say from happening in cases. There would be real-time footage of what happened. Improved behavior. It can make the public act better when they know that they are being filmed, but at the same time it can make sure cops do not do anything that would be considered unethical or excessive force. Reduction in complaints and related expenses. It can lower the cost of false complaints against officers, which save money and time. It can make it so that cops don't use excessive force against someone that can get the department sued or just have a lot of complaints filed. Some of the footage could possibly be used for training of what to do and what not to do for the new officers. There could be more trust in the officers in that community, because the community could feel like there's going to be evidence on their side if the officer does something wrong. It allows the officers to self-evaluate and find opportunities to improve themselves in their career. They're relatively unintrusive for the officers because they can be attached to their chest and they're small. They can be attached to to their glasses, so they're not intrusive. The cameras could also present an opportunity for police to highlight the everyday good officers do, as well as give the public a better idea of what the day-to-day life of a police officer is really like, so they can understand the struggle that a cop goes through on a daily basis. Let's look at the cons of police having body cameras, because you always have to look at both sides when you look at something. The first con is the upfront cost. It's not cheap. It can go into the thousands of dollars to get a police department body cameras. There's also privacy concerns. Since people call cops to respond to calls at their house, it can be hard to figure out who has the power to say if the cop is allowed to film that person or not. It also depends on the state's laws. Then the next con is the storage of evidence. The storage space is going to be a continuous problem, which is going to be a cost that the police department would need to find the money to cover, because they can't just delete the evidence. They're going to have to find a way to keep all that evidence over time, which is going to get really expensive, and it's going to become a lot of film when you consider how long cops' shifts are. The next one is some of the officers may feel like the chain of command may not trust them while they are on duty, which would build distrust within the department, which is never a good thing in a workplace. It could make the victims not want to come forward because they know they would be filmed and there would be evidence of them coming forward, so they may feel like they're putting themselves in danger again just by trying to come forward against the crime that's happened to them. The cost of training officers how to use the body cameras, it's not going to be cheap. It's going to be expensive. It could result in a tax that the public will have to pay for the cops to have the body cameras and the continuous storage to be able to keep the body cameras film, and the security for the computers to be able to store all that. The cameras may not catch everything on video because it can get broken or something could block the view, since it is on the officer's chest sometimes. If they get, the officer has to go hands-on, it may block the footage from being filmed because the camera's being blocked. Another con is sometimes the body camera could be turned off by the officer, which would mean that nothing's being filmed, so it's going to go back to a he said, she said thing in court, which never makes things any easier. Another con is technological issues related to cameras may prevent proper functioning at times. Because let's face it, we all know technology fails us at some point, and if the technology in the body cameras ever failed, that could be really bad, especially in a high profile case that they would need that extra bit of evidence in the case, whether to determine if the officer used too much excessive force or not enough force, or the officer wasn't in the wrong or the officer was in the wrong. After looking at the pros and cons, I still feel like the officers need the camera. To me, the pros outweigh the cons because the body cameras can do more to help with relations between the community and the officers than not having the body cameras. Because like I said in my video, they can use examples from the film to show the good that the officers do. Because when they do good, they should be get approval from the public, because when you look at the news, they usually only cover what the officers do bad, but I think they really should be doing is looking at the good that the officers do, because they do a lot of good for the communities and they don't always get recognized for it. But at the same time, I think officers need it, because any bad, unethical officer shouldn't be a cop anymore. That's gonna wrap it up. Hope today finds you well. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video. Peace.